Hi everyone, welcome to our PTE Plus online lessons. The main topic for this lesson is summarizing written text, and in particular we're going to be having a look at question type introduction as well as some key information about this question type. So let's talk about the writing section. As I'm sure you guys all know, speaking and writing together come in part 1 of the test. In terms of writing, it comes after the speaking section of the exam and it's split into 3 different sections. In section 3 to 4, we'll have summarizing written text, and you'll have 2 summarizing written text questions. And in section 5, this is where it can change sometimes. You can either get a summarizing written text question or a write essay question, and it's followed by a write essay question to finish up on. So that means we can have between 2 to 3 summarizing written text questions, depending on how the machine decides to generate it, and 1 to 2 write essay questions. We can see here that marks allocated to each question is 7, giving us a total of between 14 to 21, depending on how many questions the machine decides to generate. And you can see here that summarizing written text actually contributes towards the reading section, approximately 15% of your total reading score. So let's have a look at some cross-module contributions and figure out where our writing score actually comes from. You can see here that the final writing score is comprised of 3 different sections. We've got the writing for 40 to 50%, we've got the listening from 40 to 45%, and we've got the reading from 10 to 15%. In terms of writing, it comes from the summarized written text question and write essay question. In terms of listening, it comes from your summarizing spoken text, fill in the blanks, and write from dictation question types. In terms of reading, it comes from your reading and writing fill in the blank section type. Okay, so now let's have a look at the official question type introduction from PS.
Summarize written text. For this item type, you need to write a summary of the text in 1 sentence. You have 10 minutes to write your summary. Your word count at the bottom of the screen counts the number of words you write. There are also cut, copy, and paste buttons, which you may use while constructing your summary. Make sure to include the main points of the reading passage in a full single sentence.
Okay, so this is the exam interface. This is what it'll look like when you're in the actual test. So on the top, we've got the question type, summarize written text, and we've got our instructions here. Read the passage below and summarize it using 1 sentence. Type your response in the box at the bottom of the screen. You have 10 minutes to finish this task. Your response will be judged on the quality of your writing and how well your response presents the key points in the passage. So we can see here that we've got 10 minutes. Even though this says there are a total of 2 questions and it's for 20 minutes, the timer doesn't accumulate. So that means if you finish the first question in 5 minutes, it doesn't mean you get 15 minutes for the next question. No, you only get 10 minutes. So if you finish it in 3 minutes, you don't get 17 minutes for the other question. You still get 10 minutes, meaning that we need to make full use of the 10 minutes allocated per question. At the bottom, we've got different functions like copy, cut, and paste to help us organize our answer, as well as we've got a word count here telling us how many words we've got and what we should be doing here. In terms of score criteria, we can see that it's divided into 4 different types of scores. We've got 1 to 2 for content. These talk about the main aspects. So you can see here all relevant aspects mentioned. And number 2, we've got the main aspects. For form, we need 1 sentence of between 5 to 75 words. For grammar, we need to have correct grammar and no grammar mistakes. And at the bottom, for vocabulary, we need to have appropriate vocabulary usage. So we'll be going into more detail for the score criteria later on in the next videos. The official academic tips given to us is 1. We need to make sure our response is in the correct form. So when you have your written response, check to make sure that there's only 1 sentence and it has capital letters at the beginning and it ends with a full stop. So that will ensure that we have a correct form. So I'm sure you're aware, correct form gives us 1 mark. So as long as we have 1 sentence between 5 to 75 words, we have the correct form and we get the 1 mark. You can always check your word count because they tell you how many words you've got here in the counter below. If you have less than 5 words or more than 75 words, your response will not be scored. So be careful and always make sure to be within the word count. A second official PTE academic tip given to us is practice using compound and complex sentences. Your response will be expressed in one sentence, so you'll need to use a complex or compound sentence to be able to summarize the main point of the passage and also briefly mention the supporting detail. For example, look at the clause structures used in these summaries to link supporting ideas. So we've got which have, that's an example of a complex conjunction, and the word and here is a compound conjunction. So we'll be going into that in more detail as well, so don't worry about it. So that's it for this lesson. See you again next time on PTE Plus.